So now it's just to take and put these Johnny cakes in the oven. I got the oven set at 380 degrees. I think it's probably gonna be about 20 minutes, but I'll keep an eye on it. And here we go, straight in the oven. Should I take a bite? Very good. The traditional ingredients would be flour, maybe some cooking oil, cornmeal, baking powder, a little bit of salt, a little bit of sugar. I'm going to add a little bit of yeast and some chia seeds to my Johnny cakes. So when you're making Johnny cakes, traditionally I don't use a recipe and measurement. I kind of eyeball it. But for this time I said I want to make sure I use measurements so I can share the recipe. So typically what I'm going to do is use 2 parts of flour to 1 part of water, right? So for today I'm going to do 3 cups of flour. So I got 1, 2, and then 3. And this is gonna be a lot. So I'm gonna give some of these Johnny cakes to my neighbor later on in the day. So the other dry ingredients I'm gonna mix in, I'm gonna probably put about 3 teaspoons of cornmeal, or maybe 4, let me put 4 teaspoons of cornmeal. And then I'm gonna put 1.5 teaspoons of baking powder. And then not a lot of salt at all, maybe like 1/2 of a teaspoon of salt. All right, so then I'm gonna mix the dry ingredients, and then in the middle, we put like a little tunnel right there. And then we're gonna put some oil. So some people might use like vegetable shortening or maybe butter, but I'm gonna put some oil, and I'll put maybe about 2 tablespoons of oil in it. So I forgot to add the sugar, so we're not gonna add a lot of sugar at all. We're gonna add maybe about 2 teaspoons of sugar, 2.5 teaspoons of sugar, because it's not supposed to be sweet. So we just add a little bit of sugar in there. So I'm getting ready to add my water, and so to the water I added a little bit of yeast, about 1 teaspoon of yeast, and that's soluble yeast. I'm gonna let that activate for just a second. Then I'm gonna add the water to my dry ingredients, and then we're gonna start to knead it. Okay, so the dough is looking pretty good. I'm just add a little bit of flour so it's not too sticky. That's not even a teaspoon. And then a little bit of cornmeal. And then I'm gonna get in here and just start working the dough with my hands to get it done. So now that we mix the dough and we just kind of give it a gentle knead, I'm gonna let it sit for probably about 30 minutes to just kind of rest and rise. And then I'm gonna roll it out and get ready to put it in the oven. So maybe what I'll do is I'll go and make some bush tea. So bush tea is something that we typically have in Anguilla. We traditionally drink it. And actually I got these leaves from my Uncle Vince. So I'm going to make some bush tea while we wait on the dough to rise. And the bush tea is gonna have lemongrass, some worry wine, and both of these we have in Anguilla. And then I'm gonna add some ginger. All right, so now I let the dough sit for about 25 minutes. This is what it looks like. Make it in little balls and we'll put it in the oven. All right, so here we go. We have the bush tea, and in the bush tea we have lemongrass, water wine, and ginger. And then we're gonna get one of these Johnny cakes, then we cut it, and maybe do it how they might do it in Anguilla, and put a little bit of butter in it. Here you go, get a little bit of butter, put it right in there. And that would be that. Should I take a bite? Very good.